So this is the LEGO Ultimate Guardians ship that just came out at the beginning of August, set number 76193. So I was really excited to pick up this set just because of the scale and size of it, and also it kind of looks a little bit better than the version that came out before. But one thing I was a little disappointed about was that it didn't come with the escape pod, the Thor's weapon quest, that could integrate into the previous version of the Benatar. So I decided to make it and integrate it into this set, which I was able to do. If I spin this guy around in the back, you can see there's Rocket hanging out with the escape pod in the back. And it was really interesting because, you know, these things were a lot closer together and you had to restructure the whole back in order to kind of fit this guy in. But I was able to make it detachable, and these things still function just about normal. So you can see this guy flares out as well still. And it makes the silhouette a little bit wider, but all in all, not too bad. So let me show you guys how I did this. Okay, so let's get into it a little bit. Basically, in order to fit Thor's weapon quest in the back, I had to do a couple of things. One, I had to basically restructure the whole back wall of the Ultimate Guardian ship, just in order to allow this to clip in order for it to be removable, for things to fit a little bit better. And then also, a big part of it was adjusting where the hinges attach. So you can recognize this one right here actually just had like a decorative piece. In fact, it was, let me see if I can find it. It was this piece right here that was clipped on there. But I actually removed that and edited it so that it would be attaching on the hinge, and that allowed it to be a little bit wider, a little bit further up the hole than it was before. And then also down here, this is a little bit obscured, but this is one of the hinge pieces too. Just with some finagling, the angle here was pretty good in order to clip on, and then it's actually at the precise height for these guys to be okay too, which I was really surprised about, but it really worked. The problem is, especially this piece here is a little bit load bearing. So when you're finagling the escape pod in and out, like I check this guy to make sure it's still working okay. And then especially in the back, you know, I didn't want it to just be in. I wanted it to be removable and playable and all that stuff. So restructuring the back so that, first of all, with the adjusted hinge points, this was wider, and then also changing the back so that I could actually take that guy in and out. So here's what happens when you actually remove the escape pods. So basically, I'm not sure if I went over this yet, but there is a load-bearing piece right here. This guy right there. It's just one of those 2x1 slope tile pieces attached sideways, and it is not holding the whole thing, but it's definitely, you know, maintaining some support there. Most of the support actually comes from this removable roof. So it'll be hard to do with one hand, but I'll give it a shot. Basically, there we go. So, first of all, hello. I changed the top a little bit so that it can attach to the roof. So the roof actually clips on to these guys like so. And then when you take it out, it comes off. And then actually what was really interesting, I had to remove a lot of the decorative pieces on the back here. So you can see there's it's missing some orange clips, and there was some handles that used to clip into the old version of the Benatar, but I actually had to remove those in order to keep it flush with this. And then it was actually too close. Like, it was so close that it was pushing these thrusters really wide. So I needed just one stud space, and just leaving that bubble on, which I initially had removed, gave me the space I needed to clip it in right. And there's probably some holes here and there, especially if you look at it at the wrong angle, but for the most part, it's really okay. So anyway, escape pod is removed, and then you have the roof piece, which is, I don't think altered too much. Maybe the bottom, just I had to remove a piece or two here or there. But this guy is a back panel that I actually just built with some of the spare parts I had left. So remember, I took these off the side, and this is initially the greebling that was there, and then adding some slopers on top so that it can be removable. And actually, it's kind of funny, you have to clip it in a very precise way, but it slides in. Let's see if I can do it first try. Yeah, there you go. Slides in like that. So now there's a back panel, and of course the roof just goes right back on top, and it's all closed up. So now the escape pod is out, and then these guys are left open. So the last thing I really want to go over is basically how it looks without the escape pod, because that's important too if you want to deploy that guy and keep this guy on display. So it functions in a very similar way. You can see, actually, this is a good example, like one of the wings or the thruster here is actually deployed, and then the other one is kind of tucked in a little bit more. There is a little bit more give just because it's not all on the same axis. There's more rotation that you're able to do and sometimes unwanted too. And again, those guys down here, I'm always pressing this guy just to make sure that that piece is solid, because there's only two studs that are holding it together down there. And it's so important to have that all together. So basically with the escape pod removed, you can kind of just bring those guys back in. Here, let me change the angle on the stand here. Do one of these, there we go. And then you see, like, just like that, it's back to what it used to be. And it's not as chunky, like especially I had to remove some of the slopes to allow for the escape pod to fit. So it definitely loses a little bit of its thrust or charm in the back, but I think the trade-off is definitely worth it. So there's a couple of angles. And you can see, like, the silhouette is still there, the height is still there, it's in the appropriate level. It's just, it's got a little bit of a gap now, just because of where the escape pod fits in. And then, of course, you know, you don't have to keep it like that. You can also widen it out and even flare out these guys too. So that is a really nice thing. So then, you know, it's just like the original Benatar, except again, like I said, a little bit wider in the back. So here's actually the Ultimate Guardian ship and the escape pod on the stand together. So the Thor's Weapon Quest had a little clip in the back that it's able to attach to the previous version of the Benatar, and I just use it to attach to the stand, so that's displayed together. And we're actually we're gonna try and put this guy in just for the sake of it, just to see how it goes. So there's the escape pod. I'll straighten this guy out really quick and then turn it around. And so basically, you're gonna remove this top part. So that's the removable roof. Just as standard, and then of course there's the back panel, and there's it again. So basically, widen these guys out, and then you can actually see that load-bearing piece. So along with the clip on the roof that kind of holds it together, I actually these were the only tile pieces I had at the end of it. So, and then there's Mantis inside. What's really cool, you know, just with the open back like this, there's actually a little bit more play. Before it was kind of hard to get your hands in there and move around. And then also, I'll show it later, but you can actually see through the whole ship now with the bubble on the escape pod and then the cabin on the actual ship. So just to go through it, so basically the roof piece clips on just like that. You can kind of see how it goes. And then you slip it on up here, and then it's all clipped in. So this guy's clipped on. It's on the load-bearing piece down here, and it's super stable. And then I actually I lower these wings just so you get a little bit more room with the thrusters. And then these guys just tuck right in. So anyway, this is the final product again. So I just want to thank you guys for watching, and you know, I think this is, if you're gonna mod the Ultimate Guardian ship, like just know there is a way to do it. It's just a little bit tricky, and this is probably the end result or something similar that you're gonna get. But I really like it. I really like it, and actually one of the features that I didn't point out before is you can actually you can see through the whole ship now. Let me open up the other side. So you see some light coming through. I have some figures in the way, but basically, like, this thing is completely hollow now. You know, so there's a lot more play. Like, it has a full feature, and you know, it's kind of fun just to be able to deploy it. And then I have the little stand down there where I can clip it, and then here's the back panel if I ever want to trade it out. But yeah, I'm really satisfied. So any questions, you know, just throw it in the comments. I can tell you if I did something. I didn't use any other pieces outside of the two sets. In fact, I got quite a bit to spare, so I hope nothing's gonna fall apart on me here. But thank you again for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed.